Everything's gonna be alright. And when we get there, I'ma see a pretty young thing. I'ma ask her to take my hand. Head to the floor, we gon' dance. And when we get there, best believe we gonna do a two-step. Ain't no drama in here, so don't stress. Step to the right, then side to the left.
Good evening and happy Monday. Hope you had a great one. I'm trying to make it a little bit better for you now. Tonight we are back with the latest in sports, fashion, the best indie music out there. We welcome a finalist who was on MTV's Making the Band. Her name is Tyler Dumont. She has a great story. She was on the show and she left because her mother was dying of cancer. So she made the decision to leave the show to take care of her mother. And she is now back out with new music. She has a brand new single that we'll be listening to later on in the show. And she just has a great positive story. You know, you'll definitely love the interview. Then in Hot Tops, we're talking about everything that's going on. Trump has called Congressman Elijah Cummings a racist. He's a black congressman because he's over a group in the Congress that is after Trump. So, of course, he's doing what he does best. Then find out about another mass shooting that was at a garlic festival in Northern California. A 6-year-old young kid was killed. 3 other people were killed, and a lot of people were injured. And we're just talking about everything everyone's talking about out there. So join us. You know, the Nicole Murphy and Kissing the Married Man. We're talking about all that and Hot Topics. But we're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram, and of course our official website, thestevenknightshow.com. You can also check us out on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. Just go to our website, thestevenknightshow.com. When we come back, we're breaking down Hot Topics. Right back after this.
To leave. Feels like I just need to breathe. So I'm exhaling tonight. Got the pair of fresh knees. Looking so fresh and so clean. Tonight it's all eyes on me. Everything's gonna be alright. And when we get there, I'ma see a pretty young thing. I'ma ask her to take my hand. Head to the floor, we gon' dance. And when we get there, best believe we're gonna do a two-step. Ain't no drama in here, so don't stress. Step to the right, then side to the left. I'm in love with the nightlife. When we're in the limelight, makes me feel like everything is gonna be alright. I'm in love with the nightlife. When we're in the limelight, makes me feel like everything is gonna be alright. Just you, me and my people, you know the deal. On cloud nine, tonight I feel like I'm on top of the world. We don't gonna leave till the morning. Tell the DJ to spin it again. I can't wait till I get there. I'ma see a pretty young thing. I'ma ask her to take my hand. Head to the floor, we gon' dance. And when we get there, best believe we're gonna do a two-step. Ain't no drama in here, so don't stress. Step to the right, then side to the left. I'm in love with the nightlife. We're in the limelight. Makes me feel
I'm your girl, that ghetto love. That ghetto love.
In the ghetto. In the ghetto. In the ghetto. In the ghetto.
Take me away from the cares of this world. No worries, no problems, because I'm your girl, that ghetto love. Ghetto love, ghetto love. Take me away from the cares of this world. No worries, no problems, because I'm your girl, that ghetto love. Ghetto love, ghetto love. Ghetto love.
In the ghetto. 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 In the ghetto.
Hey, yo, peace, world. It's the Love King of R&B, Raheem Devon, and you're listening to the Stephen Knight Show. Keep it locked right here. Love life.
Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Miss Parker, how you feeling? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you. How was your Monday?
My Monday was very productive, actually. I got a lot done. But you know what I like to do? I like to set up my Monday like the Saturday or Sunday before so that, you know, it makes it easier for me, you know, Monday morning. Because you already know how difficult Monday mornings are. Even though I work from home, we work from home, you know, it's just to have it all, you know, straight. How was your Monday?
Yep, I think you have to kind of have a strategy for Mondays, but it was good. I don't have an issue with Mondays.
Yeah.
It was a productive day, so got through it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Anything exciting over the weekend?
I did some volunteering yesterday and hung out with some friends the Friday night and a little bit yesterday. We took Diane out for her birthday, but mostly volunteer all day Saturday. My nephew was in town, took him to dinner. So it was a busy weekend.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, my weekend wasn't too action-packed. I went out for drinks Friday. Saturday, I attempted to go to a party but couldn't get in because it was cash only, and I wasn't out walking to the ATM there was broke, and then there's another one. I wasn't in the top for that. I came home. You guys say hung out with you and Diane for her birthday lunch. She turned 72. Happy birthday, Diane.
Happy birthday, Diane.
Yeah. Chike, how was your weekend?
My weekend was A-okay. I
That's
had
good.
like a little mini vacation going on.
I saw you at the pool.
And well, I tried to cram all that in because I didn't have any water in the situation.
Oh,
So
yeah.
today I made sure I threw some fun and sun in the situation. I hung
That's
out
awesome.
with, family, thing one and thing two. I actually got jumped today. They beat me up. But it's all right. It's all enough.
Exactly. Well, that's awesome. All right, well, our question of the day is, are you an in front of the camera or behind the scenes type person? Ms. Parker?
I'm not sure. What is the question referring to?
Like, are you the kind of person that likes to be seen, likes to get the attention, you kind of person that can do the work in the background and kind of, reward yourself off of that?
If you're speaking about work, I just like to do my work and make money and go home. I don't care who gets credit for it. I don't care who's in the lead. I'm a doer in that way. So work related, I would say I'm a behind the scenes type person.
Okay. Shige, what about you?
Both. I do work as well behind the scenes as well as in front of the camera. Both, due the nature of what I have to do both. And
Yeah.
It's a must. Yeah.
I definitely am in front of the camera, I believe, but also I think I can be behind as well. It just depends on what it is that I'm doing. But but yeah, tweet us at home and let us know: are you in front of the camera or behind the scenes type person? The reason why I came up with this question because I didn't have a question, and I was watching Wendy Williams today, and obviously she is the person, you know, the face of the show. But then I saw her hype woman, and she has a hype man as well. And so when I was going to commercial, I saw them, and I'm thinking, you know, it takes obviously a lot of people to get the job done to make the show work, but there's one person in front. So are you the kind of person that would want to be the face and, you know, get the accolades or the criticism, or are you the person that wants to get the work done behind the scenes? So that's why I came with the question. All right, well, hot topic. Sadly, there was another shooting in North California at the Garlic Festival, and 3 people were killed. It was a 6-year-old boy who was on one of those jumping play things. He was killed. His mother and his grandmother were also shot. And then a 14-year-old girl, she was killed as well. And a 25-year-old who just graduated from college last year, he was killed. And the police were able to take down the shooter within a minute or so after he started shooting. People there said that he started shooting and he was trying to just kill whomever. There was a performer on the stage at the time, and he yelled on the mic, "Why are you doing this?" And the shooter allegedly said, "Because I'm mad." And so he had, prior to going to the event, he had, prior to shooting, he was at the event. He posted a picture of him being at the event, and he made some kind of racist comments about mixed breeds, mixed people who are mixed, not mixed breed, but biracial, excuse me. And he had quoted someone who is a known white supremacist. What are your thoughts on this, Ms. Parker?
I mean, obviously, this is times that we're living in. Rest in peace to the people who were killed. This seemed to happen every month or so, every couple of months. But this is mega America. It's giving people permission to be evil, to allow their what they feel as injustice or their pain or what they feel like all of their fears of losing their false sense of being superior, whatever that may add up to in their mind. It's giving them the space to grow. Mm-hmm. So it's just that all the way around and
yeah, definitely. Chike?
So I have to keep it all the way 100. So we're having these situations happen more often. Mm-hmm. And to be totally honest, I'm becoming numb to it. Yeah. Because you have to adjust in order to not be floored by it every time, because it's very devastating. Mm-hmm. People being killed the way that they are. And I'm just thinking about me personally and a remedy to the situation. Sounds cruel, but I think that those people that commit those acts need to be put to death. And I do not believe in the death penalty. I really don't. But I think that those people, for these particular crimes, need to be put to death by firing squad. You need to set an example so that people in the future will understand what is going to happen to you when you do things like this.
Yeah.
Immediate, not no trial. You kill these people. As soon as we get you in the room and enough people to shoot back on you, that's when we're doing it.
Yeah. And apparently he purchased the gun lawfully in Nevada, which the legal limit there is 18 years old. Obviously this happened in California. They just raised the limit to 21 years old. And so don't you think that the gun law should be more strict? I mean, I understand the Second Amendment rule, right? But to buy the type of gun that can take out so many people in one setting, no one needs that kind of gun. Unless you're in the military. No one needs that kind of gun. And so I think
that's what...
Mm-hmm. Sorry. Go ahead.
I think that's what common sense people have been saying, right? And,
right.
To be honest with you, the reason other people are opposed to this, it's not because of the Fifth Amendment. It's because the gun industry has brainwashed them into believing, and it's fear. It's fear-based. People thinking that once you take one right away, and all their other amendments or all their other, constitutional rights will be somehow removed, because that's the message the gun industry has put
All
down
right.
and shoved down their throats, because they don't have any. And these people are not people who are well read, people who are, to be honest with you, just ignorant people. So it's just a society and a systematic thing that's happened throughout the years about gun laws. And everybody in their right mind know that a regular citizen, you and I, Joe Blow, a hunter, they don't even hunt with guns like that, because what the gun does is, if you're hunting with that gun, when a human being is shot with one of those guns, their body explodes.
Yep.
So if an animal is shot with one of those guns, the same thing happens to the animal body. So hunters don't even use that gun.
Right. That's true. Well,
So there's a running theory that there is an agenda to keep African Americans from getting guns, and that's to put a felony on your record, so that you will be unable to purchase a gun for I'm doing air quotes, the race war that's coming, and that is supposed to keep the status quo. We're going to be basically shielded from being able to buy guns to protect ourselves in this race war. And all of this is hypothetical, guessing. I'm not saying that this is a for certain thing.
Right.
It's a legend. And so maybe what we need to start doing in the African American community, since this is going to be a race war, maybe we should start telling our youth, before they have an opportunity to get out in the world, to get a record, maybe when they turn 21, when they go register to vote, like at 18, 21, that age range, maybe you should also go file and get your first gun at that age, since we do have the right. Then maybe they'll start changing the laws to fit. People can't get guns like they get guns. We have to make them act. We have to do things to force their hand.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to change them on their own.
Every black citizen go and get a gun at the age of 18, those gun laws will start changing.
They definitely will.
Yes.
They definitely will. Well, our thoughts and prayers again are with the victims and especially the 3 that were killed, murdered, and their families. All right, so our next topic. So there's a woman. She went out to a bar with some friends, and they were having drinks, and the bartender overheard something to the effect that the woman was 14 weeks pregnant. So he started making her drinks virgin drinks. He didn't put alcohol in them, and he didn't tell her that. And so she noticed it when she got her receipt to pay the bill, and she complained, and he got fired. Do you think that he was right for what he did, or how should he have handled that if you think that he didn't handle it right?
No, I don't think he's right for what he did. I think that if he didn't fully understand what the situation was, maybe he could have got a manager involved. Like, hey, by law we can't serve pregnant people, and I thought I overheard she may be pregnant. The manager, maybe there could have been a conversation around it, but he has no right to determine whether or not a grown adult is drinking or not. Unless the only law really, if the law is not even against pregnant people drinking, it's against people who are too intoxicated to have. So by law, they can refuse you if you're too drunk.
Right.
But it's nothing about you being pregnant. I just think people overstep their boundaries sometimes, and I already know what type of person this was. Probably, I can probably guess.
Chike, what are your thoughts? Chike?
Oh, I said her body, her choice.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So remember the conversation that we had a couple of hot topics ago with it was a Tiger Woods situation?
Oh yeah.
Someone close to, and they didn't stop serving him. It's like the total opposite of this. He was known to be an abuser of substance, and they continue to feed him. They continue feeding him alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And now someone's being brought up on charges because they didn't stop, and now you have a situation where someone stopped and didn't continue.
Yeah.
Double standard.
Yeah, I think he definitely should have got a manager involved, or first had a conversation with her to see if she really was pregnant, or if he didn't feel comfortable doing that, get a manager involved. But yeah, it definitely wasn't his right. And I know he probably had the right intention, but it wasn't his right not to serve her alcohol if she ordered it as an adult. All right, so a New York man, he had served in Afghanistan, and he's a young father. Him and his wife have had 1-year-old twins. and he went to work, forgot to drop the kids off in the back seat, and when he came out after his shift, 8-hour shift, the kids had died because of the heat. He's being tried. Well, he's being charged for murder. His wife put out a statement through her attorney and said that, of course, she's devastated by the loss of her children, but she loves her husband. He's a good father and a good husband, and he's a good person, and she's standing by him. They said that this has happened at least 813 times within the last 20 years. And it's happened 23 times this year that they forget to check the back seat. They have new technology in certain vehicles that they can detect when something's in the back seat, and they'll send an alarm. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think he should be tried for murder? And what are your thoughts on it overall, Ms. Parker?
I mean, I don't honestly, Stephen. I don't know how to answer the question because, how I think us giving our opinion on something like this is it's out of, I don't know, a little bit insensitive because we don't know. There are some cases where you're like, okay, there's no way he didn't know. That he got back in the car, he ran errands all day, he could have thought it was in the baby. Like in this case, a man lost 2 children. Is it possible for a parent to forget their kid? I don't know. I'm not a parent. I don't know. It does move in my spirit, and I feel bad for him. I feel bad for the kids. Not being a parent, I don't know if that's possible, so I can't really answer.
Yeah. Well, it's obviously possible if it's happened 813 times, but in
some cases, you're like, there was a case that happened here. The man got in his car twice. And so in that case, I'm like, okay, well, I can form an opinion knowing, like, okay, when I get in my car, I can see my backseat, But his car was there all day. I can't imagine forgetting a kid in the car. But as a parent, I think it's at a different level. So, obviously it does happen. I feel bad. I don't know if it's, losing his kids are enough, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It would have been forgetting. Yeah.
Yeah. That was more so, do you think that he should be tried with murder? But
I think if it's something that they can come up and figure that he legitimately happens, like like you said, it happens sometimes. Then no, you don't charge a parent with murder for something like that. It's something they have to live with.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Chike, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to like Ms. Parker said, to answer. Due to me not being a parent, but being an adult who has been responsible for children, especially infants, I'm overcautious about having a child. I'm extra careful. The coffee cup that you sit on top of the car while you get in and drive over the coffee cup on. It's not that. These are babies, precious cargo. I don't know. Maybe something needs to happen where he gets flagged, like they are flagged sex offenders. Maybe he needs to get flagged, as a warning. Like maybe he should be looked at, with children when children are involved. Maybe, he needs to walk around with like a scarlet letter so people know, him in the company of children, he can be forgetful. I don't know.
Yeah, and when you said that, when you're watching someone's child, you're highly sensitive to what they're doing and all that, and it's probably because that's not your norm. You don't have,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're gonna be over. I remember when I brought my niece home from the hospital when she was born. I was looking in the back seat every 5 minutes because I was scared. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but I do think the fact that he has to live this rest of his life, he has to look at his wife in the face after he did this, and it seemed like she's supporting him. I hope that they both get the therapy and the counseling that they're going to need. There was a woman on TV today, and she said that she had a friend who husband did the same thing, and the marriage didn't last, obviously, but the woman has turned this into something positive, where she's an advocate for parents, that have issues with children or whatnot, and so she does it in her kids' honor. So it is a difficult situation, and my thoughts and prayers are definitely with that whole family, because I can only imagine the grief that they're feeling. Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, a few more hot topics right back after this.
no problem. No, it ain't no problem if it's only for the ones. And we can make that happen, baby, we can make that happen. I know you feeling me, I see the signs. You look like you're single and just about ready to be mine. So, girl, it ain't no problem, baby, girl, it ain't no problem. Hey, it ain't a problem, girl. About to show you a little bit of my world. So good that I'ma make your toes curl. Bumping, grinding whenever that waist twirl. Shawty, I bet you're happy that you showed up. Gonna turn that freaky mode up. No, hold up, I'm about to pick the flow up. Load up in your body and after that I'ma blow up. I wanna see your body all over me. I know that you're the truth, cause right now, baby, you're giving me all the proof. Oh, just let me get into you. I don't caught your attention, now you want me to. Got curiosity on your mind, so we ain't bout to waste no more time. You just wanna have fun. Well, girl, it ain't no problem. No, it ain't no problem if it's only for the ones. And we can make that happen, baby, we can make that happen. I know you're feeling me, I see the signs. You look like you're single and just about ready to be mine. So, girl, it ain't no problem, baby, girl, it ain't no problem. Hey, no, I ain't looking for love. Glad you feel the same, cause we ain't both been through enough. But I still want you, girl, you know I don't ever bluff. We can make love tonight, tomorrow, keep it at what's up, yeah. You gon' like it, just roll with it. Hit my phone when you is home alone with it. It ain't a question, you know that I'm gon' come with it. Probably help you with a couple new tones with it, hey. We can do this right here. I don't kiss and tell, so you run up in the bed. Started on the couch, then we take it to the bed. Keep it moving like what we said, oh. Staying classified. We're helping each other, keep each other satisfied, hey. Between us two, we gon' keep on doing what we do. You just wanna have fun. Well, girl, it ain't no problem. No, it ain't no problem if it's only for the ones. And we can make that happen, baby, we can make that happen. I know you're feeling me, I see the signs. You look like you're single and just about ready to be mine. So, girl, it ain't no problem, baby, girl, it ain't no problem. We just wanna have fun. Well, girl, it ain't no problem. No, it ain't no problem if it's only for the ones. And we can make that happen, baby, we can make that happen. I know you're feeling me, I see the signs. You look like you're single and just about ready to be mine. So, girl, it ain't no problem, baby, girl, it ain't no problem, hey. Love, 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 love,
This is Robin Dixon from The Real Housewives of Potomac, and you're listening to The Stephen Knight Show.
Welcome back to The Stephen Knight Show. I want to remind you, we're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram, of course, our official website. You can also get your T-shirts there. You can check us out on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Just go to our website, thestephennightshow.com. All right, so everyone's been talking about Nicole Murphy, Eddie Murphy's ex-wife. She was spotted last week kissing a married man. He's actually the husband of Leo Rashawn, the actress who played in Wait and Exhale. It was Angela Bassett, Whitney Houston, Loretta Devine, and Leo Rashawn. And so she first came out and said that it was a family friend and they were just greeting each other. Of course, no one bought that. So she released a statement to TMZ saying that, she had been married before and she doesn't condone messing around with married men, and pretty much she thought they were separated. He told her they were separated. Well, the Brat on their show on Dish Nation, she said that Nicole Murphy did the same thing to her sister Lisa Ray, that she messed around with her ex-husband. And so Lisa Ray was confronted by TMZ, and she confirmed. She said, yeah, absolutely did happen. And she said she doesn't know if this is her thing that she does, but she said she definitely knows that she did this to her husband. And, Nicole, by the way, denied that ever happened. And so some of the discussion I've been seeing online, people were saying everyone's blaming Nicole, but he was the married man. So what are your thoughts on, is anyone at fault? What are your thoughts, Ms. Parker?
I mean, from what I've read, she's in their circle, so she does know that he's married. I just think what goes around comes around. I think that there are, it's faults on both sides. I just think that it's women's responsibility to make sure that they, within the realm of sisterhood, that they stay with some other women's husbands. If he's going to leave her, then leave her. And I feel the same thing about men. Unless you have an understanding, there are different types of relationships, and there are people who would sign up for all kinds. All types of relationships. There's people who are open to open relationships. If that's what you need, you find a person that's open to it, and y'all can do that. I just don't understand why people don't find a relationship that suits them.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't find relationships that they want? There are people who would do any type of relationship you can think of. And so if a man is not happy in his relationship, he can move on and find the type that he wants. So I think they're both to blame.
Yeah. Chica?
So what was the initial question? Like, just what my thoughts are about this situation?
Do you think that, because people were saying everyone's blaming Nicole Murphy, but no one's really blaming the man who was actually married, for messing around?
Okay. So, on the cheating situation, I always will fault the person that walked down the aisle and said the promise, because you're the one that said the promise. You're the one that's married. You're the one that has the union. However, from history standpoint, Nicole Murphy is known for lascivious and surreptitious behavior from like a long standing. Remember, Michael Strahan had to put a load back on her because she was doing so many things to him. And, let us not forget, she used to be married to Eddie Murphy. You remember the stories from back then. So she has a long history of doing that type of thing. There would be no way that I would be in a relationship and watch her creep or be around someone that I'm attached to and not blow up the spot. Instantly, you can't hang with her. You can't be around her. I don't care what you say. You can't be around her.
Yeah. All right. Well, Trump's at it again. He's making racist tweets. This time it's against the former Congressional Black Caucus chair, Elijah Cummings, who is also the head of a committee, and he is one of the most prominent black figures in Congress. And so he has been very outspoken about his, he's been very outspoken about his dislike for Trump's policies. He hadn't attacked him as a person, but his policies. And he is leading an investigation on his taxes and all that. And so Trump pretty much called him a racist. Well, he did call him a racist and told him that he needed to spend his time focused on Baltimore, where he represents. And He called it a roach infested and all this kind of thing. And so, of course, Baltimore, people that are from Baltimore, especially celebrities and sports figures, have come out against him, told him to come say it to his face, say it to their face and whatnot. And Trump, of course, he's doubling down on these racist tweets. Now, what people are side-eyeing Republican Congressman Mark Meadows. So what happened was a few months ago they were having a hearing, and one of the one of the members of the squad called him a racist, and Elijah Commons stopped the meeting and said, "Hold on, you may not agree with his policies, but that's one of my best friends. He is not a racist," and Mark really appreciated that. Well, in light of Trump calling Elijah Cummings a racist, Mark Meadows has not said anything publicly. And people wondering where was that same support that he had for you. They even asked him, CNN asked him at a meeting today, and he ignored it. There was a person on, a correspondent today on CNN that said that he texted Mark, and Mark said that he knows he's not a racist. But Mark's also a Trump supporter, so that's probably why he hadn't publicly said it. What are your thoughts on all this?
I think Mr. Cummings, which I have seen a few stories of him and know of his work. He's doing actually amazing work. He's a man that's full of compassion. His passion has been of service for over 40 years for this country. But I think he found out an important lesson today. Anybody who supports 45 is not your best friend. Okay, mm-hmm. And that man has some racist tendencies for him to like Trump. Yeah. And the fact that he was called a racist, he was probably hurt because someone saw it and called him out on it, more so than him being a racist. So I think we got to be careful when we are referring to people as, "Oh, that's my best friend," because he just found out that's not the case.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Chike?
So, from what I know, Senator Cummings is really sticking it to Trump when it comes to these court cases.
Yeah.
I heard that he won one already, mm-hmm. and that man in office doesn't really like that.
Nope.
Because he's getting his behind handed to him, and he can't take it. He's losing, and he can't take it. I think that a lot of those Republicans have taken a blood oath to be allegiant to this man for whatever reason, and they will not go against him because I think at this point it's crucial that they have to have a united front, because if they crack or break, it's all going to fall apart. It's falling apart anyway. But once you show it, it's a definite win. And they're not going to. He's never going to. No one is ever going to acknowledge in public that they go against him. They're all going to stick together. And I really hope that the Democrats that have friends that are Republicans, like I hear them on the news talking about they don't recognize some of their Republican friends because they're acting totally different against their character or the person that they know them to be. They're not going to change. They're not going to go against Trump simply because there's an election coming up and they have an agenda to stick to. If anyone cracks that face, then it's going to be a wash for them. So don't even expect it. Mm-hmm. So it was expected for him to not stand up for him or to speak highly of him.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because Trump, he can't stand Al Sharpton either. And because Al Sharpton has called him to task on everything from Central Park 5 back in the day to recent things he's done. And even when he the birther with Obama back then as well. And so he mentioned that he knows Al Sharpton's going to jump in this. And he called him a con man and all this stuff. And Al Sharpton, he addressed it at a press conference. He said, if he thinks I'm a con man, he would have nominated me for one of his cabinet seats.
How about that?
He was a really great speech. It's on online if you want to see it. But he did a good job with that. Trump. It's a matter of time before I don't think he's gonna get elected. We don't know for sure, but he is. He's digging his own grave, pretty much, when it comes politically.
And total honesty, people are wanting. They may servicely want him to be impeached, But that's not the agenda, because now he's made like real serious enemies. They don't want him impeached. They want him to go to jail.
Yeah.
They want to ruin their name, and they want to fix it so his grandchildren cannot eat off of all this corruption that he's building. That's what the agenda is. So I want my people out there that are mad.
We lost you.
Game.
We lost you, Chicken. What'd you say? You want your people what?
I want them to wait for the end game. I don't want them to look at the impeachment, because the end game is not him being impeached. They want him in jail.
Yeah, I agree. All right, well, our last subject. So, Halloween every year is October 31st. Well, there's a petition now asking it to be moved to the last Saturday in October because, parents, most people are off on Sunday, and this way they can be out with their kids all night or however long and have to worry about getting up in the morning and done with school and all that. Well, there's some people are against that because they say that Saturdays are typically when the most DUIs are happen, and they think they would put children in danger. What are your thoughts on on Halloween changing to the end of October, Ms. Parker?
The Halloween changing until when?
To the end of October.
The end of October?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what day they celebrate Halloween. That's my favorite holiday, so they can do it October 1st. I'm gonna be celebrating. I think this question is for more with people with kids, and I'm an adult single without any children, so I can celebrate Halloween on whatever day. So whatever days benefit the children and the kids and their families and school and all those things, whatever makes sense for them, I'm down with.
Okay.
Because I can do it whenever. I think it was on a Tuesday last time, and I went out to a party. So, is it challenging? Yes, but I think that's part of the decision. When you don't have children, or you choose not to have children, that's part of the perks, right? Is being able to do what you want when you want. So there are some things that I don't feel necessarily I need to have a say in. The people who need to have certain days, they can have to say. I'll just go whenever it is.
Okay. GK?
I don't get it. I mean, can't you observe it whenever you want to observe it if you're looking at it as a holiday? I mean, regardless of what the day is, if I wanted to have a Halloween party, it is in the month of October. I can have it on the 28th if I wanted to. I'm having a Halloween party on the 20th. Yeah, I don't get it. I'm confused. But what I have to think...
Halloween is on the weekday. Most of the parties are that weekend before anyway.
Exactly. But I have to be devil's advocate and also throw in the people that say that they celebrate Halloween for religious reasons. There's people that are paganists. They may want to celebrate it when it actually happens because something is going on with the moon, and as it relates to, all that ethereal stuff that they believe in, maybe they don't want it moved. Just saying.
But then they can do it on the day that the moon is moving.
This is true. This is true.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens with this petition. Ms. Parker, thank you as always for Hot Topics. Hope you have a great week. Check out, see you in movie reviews. And when we come back, our interview with Tyler Dumont. Right back after this.
Swift bangers.
I follow you, you lead the way. I'm coming, then we both coming. I follow you, you lead the way. I'm coming, then we both coming. I follow you, you lead the way. I'm coming, then we both coming. I follow you, you lead the way. She say she feel it all in her stomach. I follow you, you lead the way. Cardio the way I gotta rock. She woke up happy, she know this I day. Thursday begin her weekends, I'm booked on Friday. She worked all week, she still trying to make my shows. She not watching me, she there to watch them. Thought she trust her, and the raw is how she feel. It's all raw the way she No gloves, that means she f***ing with you. Never ask for one or nothing, just say two. She see the money, but she pay too. And every interview questions, I be wanting to say you had your own shit. I can't say I saved you. Your pop's the only man can say he made you. I'll play myself if I ever tried to play you. I follow you,
you lead the way. I'm coming, then we both coming. I follow you, you lead the way. I'm coming, then we both coming. I follow you, you lead the way. She say she feel it all in her stomach. I follow you, you lead the way. Cardio the way I gotta run it. I follow her, she follow me. No social sites, this reality. All these comments got her mad at me. Be blind to these hoes, you ain't gotta see. They fans, baby, they just gotta speak. All they got is the beat. Why you getting beat? They in tune with cocky, but you know streets. The only George's watches 10s that we throw in Magic. See, them strippers, girl, I want a piece of you. Wentwood, canoe, just do it like Nike, baby. You own this, gon' copyright it, baby. They want what you getting, plus their head pulling like a transmission. All mouth, no hands in it. I follow you, you lead the way. I'm coming, then we both coming. I follow you, you lead the way. I'm coming, then we both coming. I follow you, you lead the way. She say she feel it all in her stomach. I follow you, you lead the way. Cardio the way I gotta run it. Tonight's the night. You got the real thing. She pulling my dreads, biting my chains. She rolling the stendos. My on the stendo. She blow me like the cartridge on a Nintendo. Plays calling. I want this to end though, but she on 10 though. Drop the keys, go ahead and bend over. Go ahead and bend over. Girl, drop them keys, go ahead and bend over. Full cut like I'm in love with it. She ain't been the same since a thug hit it. Full to it dry, swell up. Grab her neck and tell her shut, roll up. She love that freaky stuff. Ain't seen my yet. She always eat it up. I follow you, you lead the way. I'm coming, then we both coming. I follow you, you lead the way. I'm coming, then we both coming. I follow you, you lead the way. She say she feel it all in her stomach. I follow you, you lead the way. Cardio the way I gotta run it. I follow you, you lead the way.
You'd be someone I'd get. Basically, it blew my mind. I was standing by your side. You turned and walked away without telling me why. Tell me what I did to make you wanna flee. Tell me what it is that made you up and leave. Cause I didn't deserve it. Really hope it was worth it. It's gonna be hard to find out. Raindrops falling down on the rooftop. Baby, I can't seem to stop the raindrops. Raindrops. Ever since you walked away, babe, I can't seem to wash away the raindrops. Raindrops falling from my eyes constantly. Baby, I wish you could see the raindrops. Raindrops, they're pouring down on me. Will these raindrops leave? I thought that things were truly fine, and I didn't realize our well went dry. Sacrificed all of my time, basically gave up my life. Oh, I hope the grass is greener on the other side. The next relationship I find, I'll be more accepting of someone worthy. Cause leaving's not an option. Gotta proceed with caution. Cause no more ugly wounds will my heart bleed. Raindrops falling down on the rooftop. Baby, I can't seem to stop. I can't seem to wash away the raindrops falling from my eyes constantly. I wish you could see the raindrops on me, raindrops on me. But you turned and walked away, left with no words to say, leaving me held at bay. Thought we were meant to be, but now it's so clear to see that you just weren't ready. Now raindrops falling down on the rooftop. Baby, I can't seem to stop the raindrops. Ever since you walked away, I can't seem to wash away the raindrops falling from my eyes constantly. Baby, I wish you could see the raindrops. They're pouring down on me. Will these raindrops leave?
What up? It's Zeke Thomas, and you're listening to the Stephen Knight Show.
Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Our guest tonight was a finalist on MTV's Making the Band, but is back now with new music, and her reaction to Diddy announcing he wants to bring back the show. Please help me welcome the very talented Tyler Dumont. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm good. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Can't complain.
That's awesome. Well, before we get into everything, tell us a little about you, your background, your upbringing. Just how would you sum that all up?
Multicultural, to say the least. But from my paternal side, my dad's Puerto Rican with Haitian French descent. My mother is Colombian. Far back, we have some Irish roots. So, I call that Puerto Frasian Irish Colombian.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of good culture to have together, though, right?
Absolutely.
So growing up, being a multicultural and a racial, how were you treated in school? Were you treated differently? Were you embraced? How did your peers treat you?
Wow. From what I can remember, I mean, I didn't really put too much thought into it just because it wasn't something that was brought up to my attention at the time. I grew up in Miami, Florida. I'm from Miami, Florida.
Okay.
Born and raised.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of diversity growing up. We were around Caribbean people, Haitians, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, Colombians, whites. It was a mixture of everything. So I grew up in that diverse atmosphere. So it was really never a thing about, where are you from? I do remember being in private school and my dad coming to pick me up one day, and he's dark skinned, so my friends were like, "Who's that?"
Right.
And like their faces always I was like, "What's going on here?" Like I didn't see a problem. I didn't know what was going on. This was very young, obviously, but
right.
I remember that kind of left a weird feeling. Like, why did they look at me that way? It was weird, but for the most part, my parents instilled that type of mentality where color shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Gender shouldn't matter. So it was just like, we know that we were broad and made from love. So that's
awesome.
kind of like how I grew up.
That's awesome.
Thankfully.
Yeah, exactly. So when did you fall in love with music and knew that this is what you wanted to do?
Oh, great question. I fell in love with music from the moment I heard it. What must have been 2 or 1. I mean, my parents always played music around my house. I grew up to a lot of Motown tracks. My dad always played Motown every Sunday. So, I was introduced to an early mixture of genres musically. We listened to gospel, we listened to Motown, we listened to salsa, we listened to jazz. Oh, my God. So I'm thankful for that because I remember just listening to music in itself, and it would always put me in such a great mood. Seeing my dad and my mom singing. My sister and I would sing to tunes and things of that nature, but it was great. And I knew that the moment I stepped on stage to perform, that was really when I knew that I wanted to do this for the rest of my life.
Awesome. So, when did you start doing music yourself?
When did I start doing music myself? Well, I started actually dabbling into creating music when I was like around 12.
Okay.
I saw a keyboard and I just started playing with it at school. From there on, I begged my mom to get me a keyboard, and at age 12, I just started, writing and composing, and I didn't know anything. I learned how to play by ear. So if like, for example, I remember the song "Hero" by Mariah Carey. Well, how it starts in the keys. So I would try to find those same keys, and that's really how I taught myself.
Wow.
After that, I kind of stopped, being a kid, and I wanted to play, and my father would always say, hey, don't forget to practice, practice makes perfect. I shouldn't listen to him, though.
Uh-huh.
But now I've just started to play again, but I remember that it was so natural to me, creating and writing and playing with instruments. It's just, I don't know, and I think it's just because I'm naturally musically inclined.
Right, yeah.
But it just came very easy for me, and now I've just started to play again, so I'm in a happy space.
That's great. And I read that you Sade was an artist that really influenced you growing up. Talk about that.
Big time. Yeah, well, Sade, she embodies everything I want to be. Obviously, no, there's only one Sade.
Right.
Can't
Yeah.
replicate that, but just the essence of who she is. Was amazing to me just because, she's someone who's, I believe, authentic, real. Her music speaks volumes to me. Just her demeanor, her sound. It was something that I always wanted to exude as an artist. Always, staying true to my artistry and having my own sound. But I remember her being one of the pivotal people, her and Michael Jackson, obviously.
Yeah.
That just, I felt something, and I'm like, if I ever become an artist, I want to be real.
Yeah.
I want to have my own sound just like that. So, yeah, she was a big part of me even growing up and falling in love with music. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
I adore her. I'm like the biggest fan.
I heard she has an album coming out soon, or she said one's in the works or something. I think I read that somewhere. So we'll see. That would be great. She's one of those.
Hopefully.
Yeah, she's one of those artists like a mystery, which I think is part of her. The magic behind her, because you never know, she'll come out with an album, then she'll go away for 10 years, come out with an album, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know what? And it's great because I feel like that's the type of artist that I want to be. She still has time to live her life.
You're right.
Have a life outside of music, still remain mysterious, just have her private life. And then whenever she's ready to come out with great music, people are going to be there supporting her. I think that's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. So let's fast forward to auditioning for Making the Band. How did you find out about the show, and tell us about the audition process for you?
Yeah, so a coworker of mine just told me about these auditions that Diddy was holding in Miami, and me being young, I believe I was like 19 or 20.
Okay.
And at the time, I remember my mom was ill, not to a certain, to a terrible, terrible extent, but she was just diagnosed.
Okay.
With breast cancer stage, I believe it was 3.
Okay.
So my mind was all over the place. He told me, go audition. You never know. I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is what I want to do right now. I have my mom, and
right.
She's sick, and I'm pretty much the caretaker at this point in my life. So he said something that really resonated with me. He was like, you never know how far you're going to get, and in doing so, maybe you can help your mom out. And I think that in itself just hit a chord, and I was just like, maybe he's right. I have nothing to lose. What's the worst that they can say? No.
Right.
That's
exactly.
not going to stop me.
Exactly.
So I then decided to go and audition. I remember it was so hot, and I ended up auditioning. It was like a line of girls. I ended up finding out it was I think in total from 4 cities: L.A., Miami, New York, and Chicago. About 60,000 girls, or 50,000 girls.
Wow.
He ended up flying all over, to those 4 cities. Out of those 50,000, only 60 were chosen to fly back to New York and audition for him himself.
Wow.
And I was lucky. I was one of the lucky 60. After that, after auditioning for him in New York, then he chose 15 girls to now be a part of the competition and be a part of the show. So that was an awesome experience. You know,
yeah.
It was nerve-wracking, obviously, because I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
Because it was a really tough time in my life. I was depressed, and a lot was going on. But everything happens for a reason, you know?
I agree.
So I'm really thankful for the opportunity.
Yeah, and so you end up just leaving the show to take care of your mother, who unfortunately passed away. And my heart goes out to you. My mother passed away of cancer as well, so I know how devastating that can be. What would you say the biggest lesson, taking care of your mom and her passing away? What was the lesson that you took away from that experience, as powerful it can be? What did you take away from that?
Oof, that was tough.
Yeah.
When she was going through that, I was young, I was naive, I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
So here, me looking up to my mom, seeing how strong she is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she was my mother, my father, my provider, my kid. She was everything. So to see her go through that, and little by little, day by day, deteriorating from the radiation, from the chemotherapy, from then going through the symptoms, the throwing up, the losing the hair as I'm brushing her. All that hit me hard, and I didn't know really how to deal with it. But my mom always said, it is what it is. You always have to remain strong. You have to, keep your head up high, because at the end of the day, she's like, whatever is meant for me and whatever God's plan is for me, that's what's going to happen. And I didn't understand that back then.
Exactly.
I had to just go through all of that day by day and experience it. I had to, get a job to take care of her because she couldn't work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I was almost forced to grow up a little bit and mature. I was always mature, but I had to grow up
a different level
and now be exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So it was tough. It was really tough. What did I learn from that, or what were the lessons?
Yeah.
Don't take life for granted.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I understand, that we all have to survive. We all have to work, whatever our 9 to 5. We have things to take care of, our families, our kids and stuff, but never lose sight of life, of enjoying life, of taking care of yourself, of being healthy, of, go to the doctor to check yourself.
Yeah.
All these things that I'm just like, we lose sight of because of what's happening, the worldly distractions that we have to deal with day to day.
Exactly.
So, it's just right now I'm learning the meaning of balance.
That's
you
awesome.
have to balance everything out. Have a life to yourself, still continue to do what you love to do, but never losing sight of what's really important.
Most definitely. Yeah. Well, again, I know it was a while, but I know your mother, you never lose that missing your mother. So my heart goes to you with that.
Thank you. Listen, it's been 15 years. It's gotten better. You learn how to deal.
You do.
How to cope with it.
You do.
But you never ever forget that pain.
Yeah.
It never really goes away.
That's true.
I don't expect people to understand that, but only if you've gone through that,
you understand that.
To really,
exactly.
feel, exactly.
Exactly. Well, excited that you have a new project in the works, Nomadic Behavior, but you have a brand new single out, Don't Mean It. It was produced by Swanko and Josh X, yes. Who've worked with Cardi B, Swizz Beatz, J-Lo, DJ Khaled, the likes of those people. So tell us about the single. Tell us about Don't Mean It.
Well, Don't Mean It is the first single off of Nomadic Behavior, my project, and really how that song even came about was, we went to the studio. I had a compilation of tracks to listen to, and I remember that, what ended up becoming Don't Mean It, it was the last track that I heard, and I remember that one really stood out to me. I was like, okay, I love that sound, that, that ambient fusion sound with, like a lot of R&B hints and stuff like that. So I was like, I love this one. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, no, I really, really love this one. And then we just got together and it's like, okay, so what do you want to talk about? We went through a couple of concepts here and there. And what I wanted to do more importantly was talk about something that was real, that people can connect with or resonate with, and that it's honest. So I was just like, okay. We started talking about, relationships. And when two people are arguing, it could be you and your significant other, you and your sister, you and your brother, you or your mother, whoever it is, you and your best friend. A lot of times when we get angry we tend to say things that we really don't mean, you know, because in that heat of the moment, we're trying to upset the other person. So, you know, we'll throw some things, some words, some stuff we shouldn't really be saying, and at the end of the day, we regret it. But we have to remember that it's all love.
Yeah.
And that's really where the concept came from. And I love the song. It's my baby, you know?
Oh, yeah. And we playing it after this interview. I can't wait for the listeners to hear it. Tell us about what else can we expect on Nomadic Behavior?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that one more time?
Sure. What else can we expect on Nomadic Behavior?
What can you expect? Well, a lot of different sounds. I talk about a lot of my journey, what I've experienced with love, loss, confusion, depression. You know, just talk about things that are real. You know, that was like one of the most important things for me. You know, creating this project was I wanted to talk about real issues, real things that we go through, and I didn't want it to be that typical cliche thing. You know, what everybody's talking about. Like, I just wanted to kind of dive in again into my emotions and my past and everything I've experienced chronologically. And I said, okay, well, for this song, I'm going to talk about this. For this one, I'm going to talk about that. But it's just a compilation of my life, you know. There's some R&B fusion songs in there. There's a little Latin influence. There's a little reggae. There's hip-hop. There's trap. So there's just like a compilation of a lot of sounds. And that's why I named it Nomadic Behavior.
I love it.
My behavior was very nomadic. Right.
And so when it will be available?
Exactly. Well, it'll come out in January of 2020.
Okay.
So right now I'm just finishing the last bits of things that I have to go over, some songs that I have left unfinished. I'm just, you know, finishing the ending part of it.
Yeah. Finalizing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, as I announced earlier, or said earlier, Diddy said that he wants to bring back Making the Band. And, you know, Audrey Day, she's been kind of bashing him on Instagram, saying that the show won't be nothing without the original cast and all that. What are your thoughts about him reviving the show?
Well, I'm really excited, to be honest, just because he's giving people a chance. Here's the thing. I think that overall there's a lot of unseen talent. There's a lot of talent in the world. And for the fact that they get to have some sort of platform to showcase that, I think it's needed. The only thing I will say is be careful, because editing, with the editing, you know, they're always trying to put a storyline to things. So just be careful. Not everything you see is accurate.
That's true.
But what I would say is to the contestants or the future hopefuls who are auditioning, just have fun. Learn from the process. Understand that whether you make it far or not, it's not the end of the destination, or your destination, rather.
Exactly.
You know, you continue, you learn from it, you try to make your connections. You know, use that door or that platform that he's giving you, and you know, use it to your advantage. You know, just work hard and have fun. That's the one thing to remember. Have fun.
Most definitely.
And you know, that's pretty much it. So I'm really excited for him that, you know, that he's going to bring it back.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea as well. I will say about the editing. I know when years ago I auditioned for American Idol, and I remember I used to watch American Idol, and they would show people sleeping outside the night before the audition. Literally, you're not sleeping outside. They come wake you up in the morning and tell you to go outside. They take 200 people and go outside. Then they bring out the cameras. So it is editing. It is editing.
Exactly.
Well, Tyler, tell everyone where they can keep up with you on social media, your website. What's the best way to keep up with what Tyler's doing?
Keep up with me through all social media platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Tyler Dumont Music. Drop a comment, like, a message. Doesn't matter. I always reply.
That's awesome. And I do want to mention this before I let you go, that you also launched your own independent label, Tyler Dumont Productions. I want to let people know that you're a businesswoman. You're also the executive producer of your own biofilm, A Train of Thought. You want to talk about that real quick? A Train of Thought real quick?
You want me to talk about it?
Yeah, just real briefly.
Yeah, sure. Basically, to spare you from the boring details, I got to a point in my life where I was just like, you know, I know what I wanted to do. I never wanted to be stifled creatively. I never wanted to be told what to do. I never wanted to feel like a slave doing something that I love to do. So not that I'm criticizing or bashing any label or anything like that, but I know what I wanted to do.
Exactly.
And in order for me to do that, I had to call the shot. So, shout out to my partner. Working with her, we got together. I explained to her. Well, she came up to me. She heard my music. She's like, "Oh my God, this is phenomenal. What are you doing with it?" I'm like, "Well, I basically just want to put it out and stuff like that." We talked about it, and we came up with Tyler Dumont Productions, TDP, and it's basically a production company. Well, it has to do with all things creation, so producing, writing, recording, and it's been great.
That's awesome.
I've learned all of the ins and outs of the business. I had to get burned a couple of times for me to learn lessons, because this industry is very, very finicky, very shady.
It is.
So, and there's a lot of politics behind. So I had to get burned, and I had to learn throughout my way. But it's been great. I'm not going to complain. I love the fact that I'm doing this independently.
Yeah.
I love what's happening, and I'm trying to take my time. I'm not looking for overnight success or whatever. I'm here to stay. I'm here to just drop amazing music, timeless music. And, at the end of the day, to me, this is not a hobby. This is what I love to do.
Most definitely.
So, and then the docu-bio, it was just basically a piece of me that I wanted to share with the world so they can get a chance to get to know who is Tyler Dumont, who am I as a person, who am I as an artist, my journey, what I've been through, what I've learned. And it's an amazing piece. I executive produced it, and why I wanted to come out very, very transparent was because it's important to let people know what to expect, because a lot of the time there's this notion that's perpetuated in the industry is, with the fame and not putting the work in and what to expect. So I just wanted to clear the air. There's a lot more to it than you really know. So if you're really passionate about it, just be passionate about that, not for all the wrong reasons, like fame and glory and attention and popularity, because I feel like nowadays everybody and their grandmothers wants to be an artist.
Exactly. Well, the new single is Don't Mean It. Check it out now. Go get it right now. Tyler Dumont, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and continued success to you and all that you're doing, and we appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. For more information about Tyler Dumont, go to our website, thestephenknightshow.com. We'll be right back after this.
Do I swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Let me take a minute. What is my reason for cheating? Let's start from beginning. Let me take a minute. It's clear I made the wrong move. It went down in the DM like the song do. I didn't mean it to happen. She just wanted that action. Body stop moving, I'm folding. Try to talk myself out of it, I'm going. She got the rubbing, I start the boju. But then I probably lose it all focus. Hold up, damn, you don't wanna hear me. I can tell the truth, but to you it's all theory. Tell me, you can stay here, I'ma leave it. And I'ma take it back to the block, I'll need you. She like, rewind, rewind. Let me take a minute. Rewind, rewind. She said she take a minute. Rewind, rewind. Let me take a minute. She said she wanted nothing again. No. Do I swear to tell her whole truth and nothing but the truth? Let me take a minute. She was just feeling my vibe when I looked in her eye. Let me take a minute. Take a minute. Let me 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 take a minute. I place the blame cause I'm popping, I'm rocking. Hold up, losing that option. I really started from the bottom, honest. See, I'm just speaking on the topic. Easy, shawty, I don't really want you leaving. Truth is, she was on the troll and I was feeding. And at your weakest moment, wasn't there for the healing. Been a broken man, how I'm supposed to pick the pieces up? Maybe you was right, I ain't really good enough. Suitcase I'm packing, she get no reaction. She thinking I'm capping everybody like she like rewind, rewind. Let me take a minute. Rewind, rewind. Let me take a minute. Rewind, rewind. Let me take a minute. She said she wanted a minute. No. Do I swear to tell her whole truth? Nothing but the truth, let me take a minute. She was just feeling my vibe when I looked in her eye. Let me take a minute. Let me take a minute. Let me take a minute. Let me take a minute.
take a minute. She said she want the, she said she want the. Let me take a minute. She said she take a minute. She said she want the. Let me take a minute. She said she want the big. She said she want the big. Rewind. Rewind. Let me take a minute. Rewind. Rewind. Let me take a minute. Rewind. Rewind. Let me take a minute. She said she want the big. She said she want the. She want in the middle and then no. She said she want the beginning, the middle, and then no.
Don't make me wait, no. Don't be afraid, no. I'm a big boy, I'ma eat everything on my plate. Oh, don't be ashamed, no. I know you ain't got your face on, but I love it in the morning. Inside your legs ain't nothing like baking hot cakes and eggs. Oh, we gon' get it in, get it in. Give you my love. We gon' turn this bedroom to a kitchen. Let's get up there. Oh, you can't get away, get away. Give you my bed. Stop playing, girl, give me them cakes. Rolling and rolling, girl, between the sheets we rolling. Nothing better than love in the morning. I got to have breakfast in bed. Squeezing and teasing. If you put it in my face, I'm eating. Nothing better than love in the morning. I got to have breakfast. Some call me loco, but I need it all so bad. When you give it early in the morning, got me twitching. Eyes roll back when I'm staring at the ceiling. Girl, you a winner. How many licks just to get to your center? When I beat that batter, girl, I'ma fry them cakes with a cast iron's killing. You wake up. Oh, we gon' get it in, get it in. Give you my love. We gon' turn this bedroom to a kitchen. Let's get up there. Oh, you can't get away, get away. In my bed. Stop playing, girl, give me them cakes. Rolling and rolling, girl, between the sheets we rolling. Nothing better than love in the morning. I got to have breakfast in bed. Squeezing and teasing. If you put it in my face, I'm eating. Nothing better than love in the morning. I got to have breakfast in bed. Baby, I could go hard like this all day. It feels so good when we shake and bake. When you curl your toes and you grab my hand, this is the sound when we baking, man. Wake up. Oh, we gon' get it in, get it in. Give you my love. We gon' turn this bedroom to a kitchen. Let's get up there. Oh, you can't get away, get away. In my bed. Stop playing, girl, give me them cakes. Rolling and rolling, girl, between the sheets we rolling. Nothing better than love in the morning. I got to have breakfast in bed. Squeezing and teasing. If you put it in my face, I'm eating. Nothing better than love in the morning. I got to have breakfast in bed. Rolling and rolling, girl, between the sheets we rolling. kissed in bed.
Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Adam, how was your weekend?
It was really good, Stephen. We went up to Pittsburgh for the weekend.
Oh, yeah, I saw the pictures.
And it was great.
Nice.
Yeah, first time ever there. And it really surprised me. It's a really nice city. It's very pretty and not what I expected at all. So, yeah, it was great. How about you?
My weekend was kind of laid back. I didn't do a whole lot. It was cool. I attempted to go to a party on Saturday, but did not have cash, and the ATM was broke, so I went home.
Oh, that's like driving around to see if there's a parking spot, and you're like, well, there's no parking in here. I'm going to go home.
Right, exactly. Well, I'll let you take away with movie reviews.
Sure thing. So I saw the latest release by Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and this is a movie following, or I guess I should start with who it's starring. So we have Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Margot Robbie as the main characters. And this film takes place in 1969 in Hollywood, and Leonardo DiCaprio plays a movie star who's kind of past his prime, so he's now doing a lot of bit parts. He was in a TV show, now he's doing bit parts in in other TV shows, and Brad Pitt plays his stunt double and essentially best friend in the movie, while Margot Robbie plays Sharon Tate, the famous actress who was murdered during the Charles Manson incident. So, as a typical Quentin Tarantino movie, you know, it's 2 hours and 45 minutes long. You get a lot of feel for the environment, for the characters, and you really go through mainly Leonardo DiCaprio's character's storyline of how he's dealing with kind of the end of his Hollywood career and things like that, without giving away too much. But overall, I thought it was really good. So Quentin Tarantino movies are hit and miss with me. Some are really good, some are just okay. This one was long, but it didn't feel too long, and it was fun to kind of see that old style Hollywood, even though it wasn't that old, but from 50 years ago, and just watching the characters and seeing kind of the environment. And he does include, of course, like other famous people like Bruce Lee. You do see like Charles Manson, Roman Polanski, things like that. So you get a little bit taste of the environment at the time. And yeah, he pulled off a really good movie. And if you're looking for, of course, kind of a star-studded cast besides the main three I mentioned, you know, Timothy Olyphant's in it, Kurt Russell, Al Pacino, Dakota Fanning. So he's able to pull in this big group of actors that want to work with him, and he pulled off a good film, I think. So, and you know, it was number 2 in the box office this weekend because Lion King is still, of course, I guess, king of the box office, so to speak. So that's still doing really well. So yeah, I will say if you're a Quentin Tarantino fan, to check it out. If you're not, it is a little bit of a slower movie. Like I said, there are some scenes where you're like, what's going on here? But again, it's for the audience or the fans to embrace it, enjoy the scenery, enjoy the details he puts into everything.
Yeah, I actually saw that movie as well. And including the cast, I also have to mention that there are some deceased cast members that get billing in this movie. So Luke Perry of 90210 fame, he has a feature in the film. And believe it or not, Sharon Tate and Steve McQueen have billing in the movie. Since deceased, and Tarantino being the director that he is one of those artists, like I consider myself, a fan first. So he makes his art from being a fan, and he blossoms from there. And he incorporated these people because he is a fan. So you have Steve McQueen, who's been dead for probably 20-some, almost 30-some years maybe. I'm guessing. I'm not really sure, but he's been dead for a while. And, of course, Sharon Tate has as well. And they have actually billing in the movie. So someone from their family or state, they're going to receive a check because they're starring in this movie. I thought that was really cool that he did that. And I have to say, Adam, I don't know if you feel the same way, but I guess I can ask you the question. Being an actor and watching Leonardo DiCaprio's performance and how he's jumping in between being an actor in the movie, being an actor in the movie, and how he portrays it. What did you feel about that?
I think he did good. So I will say at the beginning I thought I wasn't convinced. It felt like I was watching Leonardo DiCaprio. But as time went on throughout the movie, he really fell into the role of his character, Rick Dalton, and you kind of felt like in the end, during the important scenes where he's like, trying to remember his lines and stuff like that, I think he did a great job there. And it is kind of like, how actors think and how, there's a lot of pressure on, especially when you're trying to remember lines, because everyone's there, and you've been on movie sets. It's a whole production, and you don't want to be that one person that everything's laid out just right, and then you forget a line, and now everyone has to wait for you to figure it out. So I think he did a really good job with that as well.
Yeah, I because of his portrayal of an actor in Hollywood and the way that it was written, I do believe that he may get some kind of acknowledgement from somewhere as far as awards are concerned. I don't know exactly what. I don't know if it was Oscar-worthy, but maybe People's Choice, maybe. I'm not sure, but I think that he's going to get recognized for that. Just simply because this movie was, or is, I should say, about Hollywood and the politics in Hollywood and the things that actors have to go through in order to sustain a career over time, and the roles that you pick and how political it is. And at the same time, it also incorporates that whole Charles Manson storyline, yep, and how his storyline incorporated into Hollywood, because Manson was involved in the industry because he started out, he was trying to be a musician. A lot of people don't know that. He was trying to be a musician, so he was woven into Hollywood. He knew those people. He knew people that lived in the Hollywood Hills. He knew people that were on movie sets. He knew people that were the shakers and the hitters, during that time. And it was really interesting to see how that played out.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I will recommend people kind of just do some. This is a movie where you probably want to do a little research about everything beforehand, because it does introduce actors or famous people that most people don't know about, like Jay Sebring. And if you at least know about them, you'll kind of know the context and where the story's leading. Again, I wouldn't say it's not necessary, but you definitely will get more from the movie if you kind of know the whole situation, and when they go to the Spahn Ranch where the Manson family lived for some time. Just research some of that, and so you'll kind of get a little bit more context of the movie, because I think it'll help your experience.
Yeah, I think Quentin did a good job trying to educate you as much as he could without overkill. He gave you enough for you to do the research on your own. But if you watch it, you really understand. If you do your research beforehand, and then when you watch it, you'll really understand how those puzzle pieces really connect. And I think at some point in the movie, they actually do give you a little history lesson where Steve McQueen is actually telling you who people are and how they're related to each other at the party. This is really brief and really short, but it's a path for you to start, getting on to ride it out.
Yeah, and I agree. That scene was interesting because it doesn't seem like a typical Quentin Tarantino thing, but he's like, well, the audience, this thing happened 50 years ago. The audience won't know if I don't kind of give a little bit of background. And so I think he pulled that off really well without being too overt.
Yeah. And just so the true Quentin Tarantino fans, before you go see this movie, he does not disappoint you on blood, because he's known for that. He doesn't disappoint. It's in there.
Yeah. And that's the part I thought that was a little cheesy, but it's him. And his whole foot thing. Him. We saw so many feet during the movie. You're like, or so certain feet scenes, and you're like, all right, that's just his style. Well, we'll get past it. But yeah.
Yes. Yes. I actually thought the same thing, and then I was thinking, well, being dirty barefoot back in those days, that was a thing. That's how you knew what a hippie was. You kind of knew a person was a hippie if they were barefoot and dirty barefoot, walking around. I don't know.
Yeah.
So overall, you give it a thumbs up. It's good for you.
Yeah, I will say I enjoyed it enough, but really the ending really sold me on it, and I don't want to spoil anything because it's a good movie, but once it after the end ended, I was like, all right, I do like this movie. Because at first I was like, this is fine, I can watch it, and it's cool to see the old Hollywood stuff. But I was like, I don't know if I'd recommend it. But the ending really convinced me.
I will tell you this.
I
mean, I give it a thumbs up too. I do. I recommend going to go see it. But it sure was good to see Brad Pitt again. It just seems like I hadn't seen him in such a long time, and it was just really good to see him on screen just doing his thing. It was really
Yeah, I enjoy him on screen. I think, I like him better than Leonardo, which I like Leonardo a lot. But, yeah, he just definitely has that presence, and he can really do any role that you just like, man, I want to hang out with this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Interestingly enough, this is Leonardo's first movie since The Revenant, I think 4 years ago or so. So I think as soon as he won that, once he won that Oscar, I think he was like, I don't have to do anything for a while, so... It was
to say
nice
this is the first film he starred in, because he's directed and produced other films. They've been in the documentary genre, but he has done other films.
We don't count those actors trying to be directors. What do they think? What do they think? Stay in your lane.
So not only did I see that, sorry guys, I wasn't, in the office last week. But I did see a film that I wanted to talk about last week, but I couldn't be here. So I'm here today. And the film is I Love You Now Die, which is now streaming on HBO. It's a HBO documentary, and it's a two-part documentary, and it's about the suicide death of Conrad Roy. Conrad Roy was suffering from mental illness, depression mostly, and he wound up committing suicide. And when the detectives did their investigation on his suicide, they got a hold of his phone and they found text messages from Miss Michelle Carter that basically was cheerleading him on to his own death. And they decided to bring charges, the state decided to bring charges against her for involuntary manslaughter. And this documentary follows, what happened to Mr. Conrad Roy and then the case against Michelle Carter. I thought this was riveting because I've never heard anything like this before. I didn't even know that they could bring up charges on that type of thing. But based off of him being mentally ill and so fragile, they were saying that she assisted in his suicide, basically. And definitely, it's a must-watch, and it's very educational. And this kind of falls into the line of cyberbullying and, how some people use technology to their advantage in getting what they want out of situations. This whole cyber world and technology thing is still evolving, and laws are still being created around this that we take so freely and use every day. Everyone needs to be careful. That's all I need to say. Check out this documentary. You'll be educated. Please hit me up on social media and let me know your thoughts on it when you watch it. I'm curious. So definitely check that out. That's a good one. As far as TV is concerned, I absorbed Orange and the New Black in one day. I really did. This is the final season. And all I have to say is when the credits rolled at the end, I had tears because it was sentimental. Like, we've been with these ladies for 7 years. It came on hot and blazing. It stayed hot and blazing the whole 7 years that they were on. This is one of Netflix's premiere shows, and it's now saying goodbye. Definitely check it out. This season doesn't disappoint. It's not like a Game of Thrones situation. Check it out. I won't tell you anybody's storyline or how it ends, but check it out for yourself. I recommend it because I'm a Orange is the New Black fan. Anyone that's been a fan, you'll still be a fan after the season. I'm also watching Divorce on HBO, Euphoria on HBO, Claws on TNT, Sugar on OWN, and Animal Kingdom on TNT. Those are all shows that I highly recommend. What about you, Adam? Anything on TV?
No, well, John Oliver's back, so he's been on a break for like a month. So it'll be good to catch up on that. I haven't actually seen the episode yet, but I'll probably watch it tonight. Besides that, nothing new. I recommended Schitt's Creek a little while ago, but I haven't really had time to kind of catch out any new shows. So I definitely want to, if any of those shows like Animal Kingdom is on streaming that I have, I'm going to definitely want to check it out.
Okay. I've been hearing, the first time I've ever heard of the Schitt's Creek show was through you, honestly. And since I've heard it through you, I've been hearing a lot of things about it. So I hear there's this big buzz about an award sweep for them. Like, it's really that good.
Oh, yeah, the Emmys. Yeah. It's funny because it's a Canadian show. It's produced by a Canadian TV channel. I don't know I don't know how it got picked up here or what network picked it up here, but it's very interesting because you don't hear much about Canadian TV programs. But again, it's Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hare. And they got a good cast, and it's good writing, and each character is pretty individual enough. So yeah, it's pretty enjoyable. And again, for me, it took probably about 4 episodes to actually get into it, which is odd for a comedy, I guess. But they're only 30-minute episodes, so after you get through like those few episodes, you'll know if you like it or hate it after episode 5.
Cool. Any upcoming films?
Well, we have The Kitchen, and I know Stephen and I talked about it a little bit last week. This is the one, I don't know if you heard about this, with Elizabeth Moss and Melissa McCarthy and Tiffany Haddish, and it's about these wives that take over their husbands' rackets after they're locked up in prison in 1970s in Hell's Kitchen. That looked pretty interesting, so that's on the radar. Besides that, there's Angry Birds movie 2 because, well, hey, why not, I guess. And I don't think I'll see that, but that is on the radar. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. There's the Hobbs and Shaw, the Fast and Furious movie. I keep seeing trailers for it, but nothing's convincing me yet that it's actually worth seeing. It looks very predictable and not in a good way. It just seems kind of like we're seeing kind of the same thing we've seen, so I'll probably skip on that.
I'm a little confused about how I feel about that one. So when I'm in the theater and I'm sitting there on the big screen.
You went out. Chike, you went out.
Sorry, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
No,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
So the stuff.
You went out again.
Oh, we lost you again. Right at the important part.
All right. Chike.
Oh.
I think we got you.
You hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sorry, new phone. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Come towards the light, yeah.
Did you lose him again?
I think so. I think he's like, and the most important lesson in life you need to learn is...
And it goes out. Right.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is important. Oh, man. Well, I'll put some words in his mouth. He says, when I watch this movie in the theater, I think it looks like it's going to be a really bad movie that I'll never want to watch.
Right.
Please skip it if you can. I don't know if that's what he's saying. Yeah, kind of. We heard you a second there.
Well, we can discuss next week. We can discuss next week. But thanks again. To keep going in and out, but thanks again for letting us know what to spend our money on, what not to. Hope you have a great Monday, and Chike, hold that thought for next week. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right, right back after this.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Tyler Dumont. You're listening to my new single, Don't Mean It, on the Stephen Knight Show.
cause I'm on my way. Let's all dress all that shit that we had to say. Got me caught in my feelings, I'm not okay. You say fuck off, you hate me, I'm feeling away. Hold up, wait a minute, I ain't shit. Well, you ain't even. Pack your bags, I got it here. You've been evicted, get out of here. You press my buttons now, I'm talking shit. I'll shut my phone off and hit the club with my friends. Get out my face talking all that shit. I swear I'm done, had enough of it. You talking, keep walking ahead. Walk out the door and you know that that's it. I say what I say, but you know I don't mean it. And you say some things that I know you don't mean. I say what I say, but you know I don't mean it. And you say some things that I know you don't mean. You're down on your knees begging me please now. I'm doing me now. I'm doing me now. You're cutting me deep, starting to bleed now. I'm feeling weak now. We argue for weeks now, and I just had a long ass day, so please get the fuck on my face. Not trying to go back and forth with you, please take the door with you. I'm trying to get in my pace. Well, hold up, wait a minute, I ain't shit. Well, you ain't even. Pack your bags, I got it here. You've been evicted, get out of here. You press my buttons now, I'm talking shit. I'll shut my phone off and hit the club with my friends. I say what I say, but you know I don't mean it. And you say some things that I know you don't mean. I say what I say, but you know I don't mean it. And you say some things that I know you don't mean. I say what I say, but you know I don't mean it. I say what I say, but you know I don't mean it. But you know I don't mean it. But you know I don't mean it.
Your love is showing me my path. My heart belongs in your grasp. I only see you underneath your light. I can't survive without your kiss. My life dripping from your lips. I'm nowhere if I'm not by your side. Like time slows down, and every breath is getting longer. I feel my heart sinking to the ground, and every weakness is getting stronger. And as I'm falling, I can feel you lift me up underneath your wings. And it's every touch how you take my love and bring it back to life. You bring it back to life. I feel your fire burn underneath my skin. And it's every touch how you take my love and bring it back to life. You bring it back to life. And I'm breathing in every single sound you make. I can feel your words all in the air. With your voice making my heart beat. If Your soul is all I see. It's like the rest of the world is not there. It feels like time slows down, and every breath is getting longer. I feel my heart sinking to the ground, and every weakness is getting stronger. And as I'm falling, I can feel you lift me up underneath your wings. And it's every touch how you take my love and bring it back to life. You bring it back to life. I feel your fire burn underneath my skin. And it's every touch how you take my love and bring it back to life. You bring it back to life. And as I'm falling down, I feel you lift me up underneath your wings. And it's every touch how you take my love and bring it back to life. You bring it back to life. I feel your fire burn underneath my skin. And it's every touch how you take my love and bring it back to life. You bring it back to life.
Hey, this is your girl Melody Holt from Love and Marriage Huntsville, and you are listening to the Stephen Knight Show.
Well, that's our show. Thank you so much for Tyler Dumont for joining us tonight. Her single Don't Mean It is out now. Go get it right now. Have a great week, and we'll talk again next Monday. Good night.
Tonight it's all eyes on me. Everything's gonna be alright. And when we get there, I'ma see a pretty young thing.